Well, the Indonesian warship that's been named after the MacDonald House bombers took the spotlight in today's parliament sitting.
Well, that's right. Defence Minister Ng Eng Hen says that the warship Usman Harun will not be allowed to call at Singapore's ports and naval bases, and the Singapore Armed Forces will not carry out any military exercises with the ship.
The period of Konfrontasi was a violent chapter in Singapore's history between 1963 and 1965. But it was the MacDonald House bombing by 2 Indonesian Marines in 1965 that sealed the memory of the dark period for Singaporeans. 3 people were killed and 33 injured. The 2 Marines, Usman Muhammad Ali and Harun Said, were found guilty and hanged in 1968. Despite pleas for clemency from then Indonesian President Suharto, Singapore went ahead with the hanging. Foreign Affairs Minister K. Shanmugam said that was a defining moment for the nation.
Had we agreed to release them, it would have set the precedent for our relationships with all bigger countries. That precedent would be that we will, or we should, do what a bigger country asks us and pressures us to do, even when we have been grievously hurt. That is a different concept of sovereignty, and that's not good for us, which we cannot accept.
Relations between the 2 countries were tense until then Singapore Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew visited Indonesia in 1973 and scattered flowers on the graves of the Marines. Both countries considered the matter closed, so Defence Minister Dr. Ng Eng Hen said it came as an utter surprise when Indonesia decided to name one of its warships after the 2 Marines nearly 50 years later.
Singapore will not allow this military ship named Usman Harun to call at our ports and naval bases. It would not be possible for the SCF, as protectors of this nation, to sail alongside or exercise with this ship.
Dr. Ng said bilateral defence ties between the 2 countries have grown since 1974, but this incident has set ties back.
We want good bilateral military relations, and we have to take it from there to rebuild the mutual regard and mutual respect that we have taken 40 years to reach here. It has set us back, and I would say that over the next period, we'll see what we can do to rebuild the ties, but it also depends on what both parties do.
How is MFA prepared to deal with such tests or potential provocations from bigger countries willing to test Singapore as a young and small nation?
At the core, our defense has to be top-rate. If we cannot protect ourselves, nothing else matters. Beyond that, you need to make sure that your regional relationships, both bilaterally as well as multilaterally through organizations like ASEAN, strong. Thirdly, at a larger level, you do need, therefore, a very strong network of international partners beyond the region.
To survive in such a climate, Mr. Shanmugam said it's also about ensuring Singapore is successful economically, socially and in defence.
During the debate on this issue, there was one recurring phrase used by some MPs, abang adik. Literally translated, it means big brother, little brother. The speakers were using the phrase in reference to the size of Indonesia compared with Singapore.
I see a future trend looming as our larger neighbours prosper. They may take a more nationalistic view, right, or an abang adik view to Singapore as well. How is MFA prepared to deal with such tests or potential provocations from bigger countries willing to test Singapore as a young and small nation?
Can I ask the Minister whether he agrees that the KRI Usman Harun episode is yet another reminder of the mindset of Indonesia towards Singapore, seeing itself as a big brother in this abang-adik relationship, rather than one where neighbouring states are viewed as equal sovereign entities, where sensitivity is a two-way street?
The point about bigger and smaller countries is never going to change with us. It's not a new issue. It was always there from the time we became independent, that size of others was used as a bargaining chip with us. We withstood that. And in international relations and international diplomatic exchanges, the weight and the might of the participants is usually the most important factor. We have been able to hold our own, punch well above our weight, simply because we have been faster, skillful, and successful abang-adik relationship. Without characterizing it in those terms, I think it's not just this region. In every part of the world, an inalienable fact of international diplomatic relationships is that every country will use every advantage it has to pursue its interests.